What is going on, everybody? Happy New Testament Tuesday. I'm Pastor Adam. I'm so glad you decided to tune in and check out and see what we've got going on today. We're going to continue on in our series about the Sabbath, about rest. What does it mean for us? What does it mean for the church? What does it mean for you personally, and how you connect with God in a way that brings you rest? Not just physical rest, but also spiritual rest and emotional, mental rest as well. Because we all need it. Because if we just keep going and going and going and going and going, eventually we're going to run out of fuel, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it's spiritual. We're going to run out, and then there's a famous saying or a little saying that pastors have, you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't pour into somebody, you can't pour into a different events and pour yourself into it if you're empty yourself. So here, I've got a question for you. What's something that you just have to, what's like a tradition or something that you've got to do? Like you've got to do this, otherwise your day is completely wrong. For me, it's coffee. Oh, man. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being dramatic here, but sometimes I don't know if I can function without coffee, without a little bit of caffeine. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you've got something else. Maybe it's a morning walk. Maybe it's this or maybe it's that. I don't know, but what is it for you? And does it help you? Does it really, really help you? Because check out this part of the Bible here in John chapter 5, starting in verse 1. It says this: Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish festivals. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate a pool, which in Aramaic is called Bethsaida, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie: the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned about his condition for a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into the pool, and when the water is stirred, while I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." Then Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat, and walk." Whew, what a powerful story. A man who couldn't get up, who couldn't do anything, was like that for 38 years. All he was trying to do was getting to this pool. This pool was locally known as some sort of pool of healing. That when the water is stirred, that's when like the first person in, man, the first couple people, whatever it was, they would get healed by going into the water. Well, this man who was paralyzed, who was invalid, he couldn't get in. 38 years he was putting his hope and his trust into this pool that was going to heal him. Sure, he may have seen a few other people go into the pool and get healed. Sure, that might have happened. Maybe he could have gone into the pool and would have been healed. I don't know. But what we do know is that he couldn't get in. And then one time he met Jesus, and Jesus was able to heal him and say, "Get up and walk." Now you may be saying, "Hey, Pastor Adam, that's a really cool story and all, but aren't we talking about the Sabbath?" Well, the next verse: "At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath." So the Jewish leaders said to the man who had been healed, "It's the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." But he replied, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" And they go on and they have this little back and forth about who was it, who done it, all these things. But what I want to get at today, what I want you to focus on, just like the camera had to focus for a minute, what I want you to focus on is this. Are you putting your hope and trust in the things that are meant to refresh you, meant to recharge you? Sometimes I talk a lot about getting a hot tub. A hot tub is relaxing, it recharges you, it's all of these things. But maybe that's just a physical and a mental way of resting and relaxing yourself. What about spiritually? There's different things we turn to. Coffee, yeah, coffee gives me all sorts of good energy to go out and do what I need to do. It's relaxing to kick up my feet in the quiet of the morning and sip my coffee. Whew, that's good. It relaxes me. It gives me energy to go out and do stuff, sure. But will it ever relax and recharge me spiritually? Will it ever heal me spiritually? Will it ever refill my cup so I can go again and pour it back out for God's kingdom? How many times do you go out and chase other things that are meant to rest and relax and recharge you, but it only does it partially? Maybe it's just physical. Maybe it's just such and such. Maybe it's just mental, just emotional. Are you taking care of your spirit? Because there's only one way to really recharge your spirit, and that's going to God himself. 38 years this man tried to get into this pool in hopes of getting healed, and it just didn't happen. But when he met the Son of God, Jesus Christ, everything changed. For you today, whatever you're going through, whatever's going on, maybe there's nothing going on. But before you ever get burnt out, or maybe you are burnt out, the answer is Jesus. And it always will be. I'm Pastor Adam. This has been New Testament Tuesday. I'll see you again next time.